Boxers Trainers channel. And welcome back to the channel. Look, I was on earlier and I was so out of sorts, right, when it came to creating the content that is good for the fan base, right? I mean, something that I feel good about, right? But earlier, I don't know, I was in a rambunctious mood, right? And I came on, right? And at the end of the day, what I did was I went on and I deleted that program, that podcast, right? Because it was horrible to me, and that's not my intentions to sit down and speak to the world, right? And feel bad about what I do. No, that's not going to work. So, contrary to the fact that it is my intentions to someday become the best new media boxing commentator in the business. And I mean, everything takes time, right? But for me, I just need to do better. And starting today, I'm going to pay less attention to the numbers that come on the screen and more professionally inclined to say the things that are factual and relevant. So I using that as a apology for not taking my time and doing what I do and what I love to do correctly. So I'm gonna have to pump my brakes, take a deep breath when necessary, right? And be professional. That's what it's about. It's about being, for me, it's about being professional. And it is equally about taking the line by the tail, right? What I mean by that is, contrary to the fact that I do have license as a journalist to represent whatever I choose to, because um, it is transparently clear that I have the intellectual skills to be able to get on the air, right, and speak decent English. And actually, that's all that is required in the journalistic scheme of things, right? Is your English, right? Um, it was a time when I had very poor English, but I took the liberty and corrected that, as is the case with what I am doing right now. I am correcting a situation that I was not pleased with earlier, right? So what I did was I sat back, I thought about what I had did, my accomplishments thus far, which are not, in my opinion, the type of accomplishments that I am capable of, and I will go on the record and say that I will have the necessary um, numbers associated with being in the game, if you will. Everything to me is like a game. It's the game, right? Basketball, boxing, football, you name it, right? Specifically referring to, in this instance, boxing, right? Boxing is my sport of choice. Quite naturally, because I participated in the sport, I was actually pretty dang good at it, right? And some days, as soon as I start to really get involved, I'm gonna start. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some equipment in here, like heavy bags. I don't know, maybe the speed bag. I don't know, but see the things that really fascinated me about boxing was really like the rope, right? Which is kind of a problem for me now, because as you get older, you lose certain mechanics when jumping rope, right? But that will not stop me from attempting to work that work. Because again, I think I mentioned this the other day. I was really, 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 really professionally uh, inclined with that rope, well, back in the days. I mean, when you jump in a rope, in the mental state that you have to be in order to make the rope effective in your movement, right? The rope is primarily to keep you in the position where you got good feet, good legs. You know what I'm saying? Where you can basically spin on a dime, right? And do the things necessary to make you a great boxer, right? I mean, everybody should use the rope, right? But for a skilled technician, it's about that rope, man. It's about that rope, right? To get your coordination associated with your feet and your legs. You know what I mean? That's about it's about timing with those two instruments, the rope, right, and your upper body movement, your hands, right? They have to be in sync. That's what makes. See what I mean? This is what it's about when I say being capable of delivering you guys good information. This is what um, I consider as good information. Shout out to the Ship Will Sail. What's going on, brother? I'm gonna get with you probably one day this week. We're gonna do that again. How about that? Anyway, back to boxing, right? We have to keep focused on boxing. I do, right? Again, it is my ambition and my desire to be the best in the business. Yes, sir. Shout out to the Ship Will Sail. I will honor that request and hit you later on, brother. But for today, Arnold Barbosa Jr. is back, right? Arnold Barbosa Jr. Is promoted by uh, Golden Boy Promotions, right? Golden Boy Promotions at one point had a lot of world champions, right? I mean, I think that I think that Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya is pretty good at what they do. Oscar knows how to extend its talent, right? Golden Boy knows how to extend its talent, right? To make sure that Golden Boy is in a position, right, where people still clamor and desire to see Golden Boy Promotions, right? And that's what it's about when it comes to promotion. You know what I mean? You gotta have the people on your side. You gotta have the people want to see your bouts in order to be successful, right? And I will say this in all fairness to all the promoters, right? Matchroom, Golden Boy, Top Rank. I mean, hey, look, I kind of feel a little bad for Top Rank, right? And actually, I actually tried to have a conversation with Top Rank about their dilemma, right? Their dilemma being that they don't have a network, right, to show their shows, show their promotions, right? They don't have a network. And I don't know if it's me or Top Rank because I came up with a boss idea, right? And I just can't see why it wouldn't work. And I called and I talked to somebody at Top Rank. I gave them the basic information about creating a network, right? Your own damn network. You don't have to rely on the zone. You don't have to rely on um, uh, Paramount or Netflix, right? Create your own stuff. I mean, if you financially in a position to do that, why would you not do that and prevent from having to put your show or put your promotion on hold? You know what I mean? So I did have a conversation with them about that. They never got back with me, right? And I'm thinking again, I don't know how people really act when it comes to somebody from the outside coming in and saying, "Look, I got a wonderful idea. What do you think about this?" Right? And you give them a little bit of right, and they don't call you back, right? I don't know if that's hating, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know because the idea that I presented. Shout out to Gary Williamson. What? Is that a call out? Hold it, hold it. Is that a call out, Gary Williamson? It's to me? Wait, hold. Let me see if let me see if I got this correct. Gary Williamson, KD 5B. Fun, man. I thought you were serious. Oh, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 70, it don't stop with me at 76, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause really? I be thinking of ways to get back in the ring. I be thinking of ways to get back in the ring. How can I? Damn, will that work? You know what I mean? And then look, when you have a love for the sport, like I have a love for the sport, it don't never go away. Even at 76, it don't go away, right? I mean, that's just the nature of Turkey. Who is Turkey? Shout out to Turkey. Yeah, this is Turkey. Turkey, yeah. Turkey, yee. Shout out to the chat, man. But like I was saying, when you really get involved in the love of the sport, it's impossible to shake that, man. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, here's the thing right, about boxing as far as when you get in that mindset and you have that type of love for the sport, right? People like Rolly Romero, and I have to say, uh, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, and here's the thing. What I'm about to say, they don't have to do that, right? They do a lot of yapping. You know what I mean? They do a lot of yapping, but they don't perform. You know what I mean? A fighter, shout out to Jet. Yeah, okay, I agree with that, but the thing is they don't want to fight. Okay, where am I from? Or where am I? Where do you, okay, no, the question is, where are you from? Basically from Oakland, California. The same place that Andrew Ward and Devin the Dream Haney and Bill Haney came from, right? We all came from that same spot on the globe, Oakland, California. And I love and respected Oakland, California. And actually, sometimes I really miss, what I'm saying, being at home, right? Right now, I'm in a location in at the moment in Arkansas, right? But my residence is Oakland, California, right? But anyway, so a lot of these cats do a lot of yapping, right? Like, I'm making mention of this because somebody said in the chat the only competition at 140 with Shakur would be Javante Davis and that's correct, Keyshawn Davis, right? But here's the deal: Keyshawn would not will not fight Shakur. Now, I don't know if that's psychology that those two are using on the world to build up a large interest in the fight, which would actually would be genius, right? If you think like I think, and I think sometimes genius, right? I think that if Shakur Stevenson and them plotted this out, right, with the notion that that's my brother, I ain't fighting. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can stop talking about that coming on because Keyshawn Davis has made mention to that fact, right? That's old. We ain't talking about that no more. I ain't fighting my brother. If in the event that those two had created this type of scenario where they have the world clamoring to see them fight, and they know this, and then came together and said, "Man, we're gonna put this on for 6 or 7 years, and then we're gonna bust them out." That would be genius. That would be genius. And actually, if they don't do that, something wrong with them. I think. What do you? I mean, to be realistic about boxing, the sport of boxing, it's a lot of psychology in boxing, and it's a lot of manipulation in boxing, right? So, if you up there in a position where you can induce the crowd to want to, right, spend millions and millions and millions of dollars want to see you, that is genius strategy. But for these clowns, you never know. This th- this class of fighters, uh, the way they think, right, it's kind of like it's unusual. It's very unusual. This generation is very unusual, right? And see, a lot of times, a lot of blame goes to my generation. And I will say this in all fairness to everybody, right? My generation do play a part in the behavior of these young idiots. They do. We do. So my generation does play a role in uh, the behavior of these youngsters today because we didn't do what was done to me, right? We didn't get out there and solicit those youngsters, right, and tell them, man, look, this is what y'all got. Yeah, no, this is not what you should do. This is what you're gonna do, right? Because that's the generation I came from, right? And I said this on this show time and time again, right? That it wasn't an option with me when I was coming up, right? You couldn't just, you know what I'm saying, be out there in the street, right, and expect for it to be all right without being challenged, right, about your reading, your discipline, your writing, right, the positive things, your integrity, your honor, which today these kids have none of that. So here's the thing: I do my job today right here on this platform when it comes to waking up those that are still asleep, the younger generation. So I am not going to be taken for granted in regards to not doing my job because I'm doing my job every time I come on this podcast and mention the behavior of these youngsters today. Do something about it. But anyway, man, I'm gonna continue to do that. But I'm just saying, um, we all need to get up off our uh, punda in Swahili. That's butts, and take a position and do more with these youngsters. Right? Don't you? Oh, they dangerous. No, 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 no. It's where there's a will, there's a way to do anything. And I'm after 76 years, I've been doing this industry all my life. So let me be perfectly clear. Do not label me as one of those that uh, don't rally to the cry of the younger generation because I'm sitting on my butt and not making it perfectly clear that that ain't cool or this is what you really need to do, right? Because that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, right? So I do not want to be associated with those that do a lot of yapping about this, but don't participate. Anyway, man, boxing and tea. Arnold Barbosa Jr. versus Kenneth Sims Jr., right? This is for March 14th, Saturday, this Saturday, March 14th, 2026. Golden Boy Promotion is putting this on, right? This ought to be a good fight because what it is this is the first fight back for Arnold Barbosa after his loss to Teofimo Lopez. I believe it was last year in New York, right? The same time that Rolando Rory Romero whooped Ryan Garcia and somehow came up with the WBA welterweight championship belt of the world, right? Now, this is going to be a good fight. And it gives me a lot of energy, right, to come back on this week and do some podcasting about the undercard. The undercard to this main event is, man, shout out to Golden Boy Promotion. Boy Promotion is putting on a fantastic undercard and main event featuring again Arnold Barbosa and Kenneth Smith, right? Now, I'm not going to go off into the particulars, but I'm just going to tell you I'm going to be on all this week doing boxing, right? The undercard is going to keep me busy, and that's appreciated because the only way that I'm going to be able to do my job, right, which is boxing, right, is to have something relevant to say about it. So, Arnold Barbosa is 34 years of age. He's 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach, right-hander. 32 wins, 11 by knockout. One loss to Teofimo Lopez. Never been stopped, no draws, right? He's ranked number 9 by the WBC. And again, this is Arnold's first fight back since that loss. So I'm quite sure that that Arnold Barbosa is going to take advantage of this because he's actually going up to welterweight, right? From 140 to 147. And this is a new day, for a new sheriff in town when it comes to the welterweight division and making that leap from 140 to 147, right? So we want to hope that Arnold Barbosa comes in there in shape, right? And be the aggressive boxer that he normally is. Now, with the fight with Teofimo Lopez, that wasn't a good performance in my opinion as far as Arnold Barbosa was concerned, right? In that fight, I believe that Teofimo Lopez came in there prepared to deal with Arnold Barbosa. He got the win, but I may as well take the opportunity to say he should have fought Shakur Stevens the way he fought Arnold Barbosa. Those were two different fighters, right? And it will suggest that it was two different fighters because he won with beating Arnold Barbosa and lost beating Shakur Stevenson, meaning Shakur Stevenson won, right? So I hope that Arnold Barbosa get in the gym and do his thing, man, come in and give us a good performance. His opponent, Kenneth Sims Jr., tells the tape, 32 years of age, he's 5'10" with a 68.9-inch arm, right-hander, 22 wins, 8 by knockout, 3 losses. Well, never stopped one draw. No, the 3 losses kind of indicate to me is that this is like cherry pick, man. 3 losses, right? I mean, not saying that Sims is going to be prepared when he get in there, but I'm just saying, you judge, you promoters, managers, trainers, they review the boxers as an opponent based on his win-loss ratio, right? So I'm just saying Golden Boy Promotions can't really stand to keep on losing good talent like Arnold Barbosa, right? So I would think that this is a well-picked job when it came to Arnold Barbosa's opponent. He can't stand another loss, right? I mean, a loss don't win. A loss don't win. Don't make you or break you. I mean, for a good professional, right? Because one loss for me would mean that I would have to get back in the gym and strategize to get back in the ring and do some winning. That's all a loss means to me. But again, boxers today don't think like we thought back in the days, man. And that's just a fact. So later on this week, I'll be back on with. I think I'll probably do because this undercard is packed, man. It's packed and good fighters and well-known, name-recognized fights, right? So all this week, I'm gonna come back on and I'm gonna be doing the undercard for this fight. That being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know who you think is going to be the victor between Arnold Barbosa and Kenneth Sims Jr. That being said, I love you and I appreciate you. Later.